Hi, just a couple more thoughts on the new Tamron 17-35 f2.8-4 OSD. I want to have a quick comparison of the sharpness with my Tamron 24-70 standard zoom. I think it's a good yardstick for seeing how good this lens is, in terms of my lens collection at least, because I haven't got anything more sort of pro grade than the 24-70. This shot was done at 24mm, and we can have a look at the trees in the distance on the Tamron 24-70. And although I think the overall sharpness of the image is fine for, well, it's certainly fine for viewing on a screen, and I would imagine it would make a decent sized print. If you're in love with zooming in on images and looking at distant details, it's not perfect, but if you compare to the new Tamron 17-35mm, those distant details are much crisper. There's more evenness in terms of the sharpness across the centre of the image, and especially on the borders of the image. Where the Tamron 24-70 seemed to drop off a bit, the 17-35 is crisp right up to the edge, no problems there at all. And I've used various zooms and various prime lenses, and to me the Tamron 17-35 has an evenness of sharpness that feels more like a prime lens than a zoom. Zooms always seem to be slightly compromised if you stop pixel peeping, but the Tamron 17-35 seems to do very well. And if you couple that with the fact that it's small and lightweight, it's not that much bigger than some of Nikon's f1.8 primes. And it's certainly a lot smaller than the sort of 24-70 zooms. I think it's a very compelling lens for taking out and landscape shooting. Another thing I've noticed with the lens is that the flare resistance seems to be excellent. I tried a couple of Sunstar shots, and I took one shot at f8 and one at, I think it was f16, and the Sunstars are pretty good, and I didn't notice at the time, there's virtually no flaring at all from shooting directly into the sun. And I've lightened these pictures slightly. I've lifted the shadows a touch, just so you can make out some detail in the shadows. I talked about the corner performance wide open in the last video, but I didn't show any examples of that. So here's a shot at wide open f2.8, 17mm, and yeah, the corners are a little bit soft in there, but the center sharpness is really good, and the border sharpness isn't bad either. It's really not that bad. And here's a couple of shots of my dog, 35mm, wide open at f4, and usually when I'm shooting wide open, I'm shooting a subject that's close to the camera and then throwing the background out of focus slightly. Obviously you can't really throw it out of focus that much at f4 at 35mm, but even so, shooting like that makes the corner sharpness kind of irrelevant. I suppose for astrophotography it might be an issue. I haven't really tried that style of photography, but for me the corner issue here is negligible. Now, I have times when I want to go out and do serious photography and you know, you're prepared to take a large lens with you and you stick it in a backpack or whatever. But there's other times when you just want to use your phone, and that's fine. But there's sort of in between times when perhaps you're on holiday or something like that, and to have a compact lens that you can carry around with you all day. You know, you can just stick the camera over your shoulder and have it ready at all times, and have a really good performance as well. I think that's pretty valuable, and I think when this new Tamron lens gets more widely known, I think it's going to be very popular for that reason. And additionally, the ability to mount standard filters onto the front of it, or easily mount the sort of square filter holder kits. I think it's, you know, it's a 77mm filter thread with no bulbous front elements, so it makes all that a lot easier, and saves you a lot of money investing in a specialised kit to mount it on lenses like the Tamron 15-30.